turn this park into one big fish tank. It'll be a kingdom fit for an octopus. Yeah? And since we're going to the depths tonight on the questionnaire, that'll be perfect, ladies and gentlemen. I am the unknown factor. Yeah? You know, we had a couple returning guests here and there, some pan cons, people returning, got some individuals that'll come on for their own show. We got some other individuals I got scheduled to come up that will be return guests. But man, for some reason, half of this duo just had to work. Sure. But we still
It's
got
always doing
Dalton
something.
up in the house,
Hey,
man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. We will be shit talking Wells the entire show, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. We're not even going to talk about the comic The Depths. We're just going to
No,
sit here and
we're,
shit talk
yeah,
about
no,
Wells this
yeah.
entire
Wait, what?
time.
What? Yeah, what's depths? No. Wells sucks. That's the show. Yeah,
For real. What
we
the
we love
hell,
you,
man?
Wells, but you also suck.
Yeah. For real, I do love you, Wells, man, but you gotta work. Like,
How dare you?
I don't want to hear it, man. Look, you know how many more people I'd have that were over in the UK if I didn't have to work. Whatever, man.
It's all excuses.
For real. For real. Yeah. At least, man, whatever. It's not like he's like in some different time zone. So I don't want to like, why is he working so late? What's the problem here?
Chicago,
Oh shit! I just wait. Wait. Are you in Chicago as well?
Green Bay.
Well, man, like Wells is really close to me. I might have to just show up and be like, "Why didn't you show up for the interview?"
Just knock on the door. Hey, Wells. I had a question. You weren't on my show, so I brought the show to you.
That would be, man. Look. Will you send me his address, Dalton? I might just have to find a day real quick. Just drive up to
Hell,
Chicago.
why did you send it? Let's
Eh.
just post it on. Let's post it on screen and just dox him. It'll be great.
I won't go that far, man. Damn, Dalton.
You're not committed enough.
I I will fine. Send it to me and I'll post it right now. If that's really what you want to do, it'll just appear on the screen as a graphic right here,
Yeah.
right now. If Dalton send it to me. So we'll see who really went through. Because if Dalton sends it to me by the time I got this edited and ready to go, I'll just right there.
Right
That's
there.
Will's
Yeah. No.
address.
Oh, and that's a legitimate address. You can drive there. You can go there. You can knock on that door and disturb all 5 cats. It'll be great. And then I will never hear the end of it. But I never hear the end of it anyway, so it'll be okay.
Hey man, you never know. Maybe he'll get something dope sent to him because he actually filled out the questionnaire. I'd have to dig through to remember exactly what his answer was as far as the childhood toy that he wanted. But if you go and check out the previous interview we had with both Dalton and Wells, because Dalton didn't fill out the questionnaire, maybe I need to show up to your house.
I mean, sure, I won't be here, but go for it. And we'll be flashing the address right here, right about now. So come visit. It's great. Green Bay's a lovely place.
Man, yeah. Look, you ain't even got whatever. You didn't fill out your pre-show questionnaire. Nobody even knows what to send you. All cool as far as some childhood toy.
Oh, just as long as I get Bionicle, I'm fine. Give me the Legos. I'm good. Yeah. And also, I didn't know there was a questionnaire. Okay, Wells filled it out without telling me.
Excuses.
Everybody's no, we're back. We're back to the excuses again. Yeah.
Everybody's got them. You because you didn't fill out the questionnaire. Wells not being on the show this time. For real, go check out their previous quest, man, where we got into Mechaton, right? But today we're gonna get into something else, man, that y'all can check out on Kickstarter. Hopefully, I can get this edited and out quick enough to where the Kickstarter is still running.
That'd be nice. Yes.
I'm gonna try. Man. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say it will or will not be. I'm gonna try my ass off to make sure that it is, though. It'll be right after Mike's drops because I already got Mike's episode edited, so he yeah, this is one of them situations where the episode's going to come out way quick after it's filmed, man. That typically only happens with this month in comics. But we're going to try and do that for you as well, man, because you guys got the depths on Kickstarter right now, which I just read the first couple pages too, because it's all you guys have been nice enough to post.
That's because that's all that exists right now.
Oh, well, no wonder I couldn't get an advanced copy of it to read real quickly before the interview. Fair enough.
Yep.
Should have just sent me the scripts, man. You wonder how many drinks I can take a drink of that are different drinks on the show, by the way?
Yeah, all the different cups all scattered throughout. Yeah, I like it. No, we can keep a running tally up on the top. How many swigs from each bottle?
I don't have any more than 3, man. That's struck out right there. Right. But this is a very interesting concept to me, man. It again proves something about comics that we've been adamant out throughout the show, which is they cover everything. You know what I mean? As far as different genres, different stories, it's not in any way, shape, or form just superheroes, right? It's everything, because in the depths, you've made it to where a guy has. Firstly, how do you invent a scuba suit that just lets you dive perpetually? Because I say this, look, I've been diving before, right? Have you ever been diving?
No, I have not.
It's I
Water scares me.
That's funny, man. Before we get into this, I'll tell you, I was 14 or 15 at the time. All right, and based on some things, I was on a trip that, like, monetarily I had no rights to go in, but sometimes a company will give somebody that sells their equipment a cookie so they don't realize that they're getting boned in the long run. But then I'm getting into the whole politics of the fact that the rich are fucking assholes. But we're not going to get into all that, right? We'll just say I was given a cookie, or my family was given a cookie, so they would continue to make these assholes an exorbitant amount of profit. And I'll leave it at that. But that cookie was phenomenal in the fact that I did actually get to scuba dive in the Caribbean, right?
Ooh, okay.
Which yeah, man, is something that sticks with me. But one of the things I'll always remember is we're all sitting getting this gear up, and I'm talking to this dude who he's an older cat. He's probably at least as old as I am now, if not older. And he's sitting there, and I'm just excited. I'm ready to jump in the water. Like, let's go. Yeah, this is going to be awesome, man. I'm just going to be stuck under the ocean with everything, and like a shark might eat me. And like, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just like, this is awesome. And I'm talking to this dude. He's telling me a story about, yeah, man. He's like, we were diving once, and we were real low on air, about to go up, and suddenly a school of barracuda just starts going under us, and we're sitting there looking at our tanks like, oh, well, this sucks.
Yeah,
because you can't go up when there's a school of barracuda going over you. Yeah, you gotta wait that shit out. Yeah, pray your oxygen don't run out.
Start taking real shallow breaths at that point.
Yeah, like. Like, that's what you're doing at that point.
Yeah.
Hoping your air don't run out, because if you swim through a pack of barracuda, they're gonna eat you alive. That's just how it is. Let me go back to drink number 1 real quick. And then it's funny, like, I'm sitting there having this conversation with this guy, and I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Even after hearing this horror story, and there are these 2 females, probably in their early 20s. And you can see they're afraid, and then they look over at me and they're like, yeah, they're like afraid of jumping in, man. And I'm like, to hell with that, let's go. And they both look over at me and they're like, if this kid's ready to go, we shouldn't be afraid. And all my brain thought was, look, I'm wired different. I don't think y'all want to base any of your actions on me. I just want to point, like, I didn't say that, but even in that moment, and especially more now knowing myself as I am, I really think, like, look, I'm wired different. You don't want to base your actions upon what I do. You just really fucking dumb. Okay, it's not a good idea, man. But I mean, they just straight tell you to step off. You know,
Yeah.
and it's phenomenal. But what gave you the idea to get back to what we're talking about here? Because we will eventually. You know, I'm roundabout. You know that.
It all
What
comes
gave you?
together.
And what gave you the idea to make it to where there was a perpetual suit where you could just go in and just breathe endlessly? Because that's
Well,
awesome.
yeah, well, it came from the I just had the idea of, well, that first page of Depths, basically, that's on the Kickstarter page, where Emil, our main character in the suit, comes out of the darkness, just kind of like walking, and like the light from his helmet. I just had that image in my head, and I was like, oh, well, what's that story? And it basically came about just like, okay, well, he's diving underwater. Does he have a cable? No, he doesn't have a cable. Okay, so how is he breathing? And then I'm like, oh, so it's just a perpetual diving suit. And I was just like, cool, that makes the story work. And we hammer out the science enough to where it makes a little bit of sense, but it's not like, the suit's the most ridiculous thing about the book. It could never exist, but it facilitates the story enough that you don't, like, you just raised an eyebrow a little bit, and then you're like, okay, that's cool, the story can keep going.
Real quickly, you say that suit could never exist. I'm gonna have to disagree with you because water is H2O. So
Hmm.
technically, if you could make a suit that one filtered your own breath and kicked back oxygen into the tank, and then two had some kind of system that was able to split the water. Now, mind
Well,
you,
I
this
mean,
is, I mean, that
tech
it's totally feasible. No, mind you, that tech,
technically
yeah.
it's I mean, technically it theoretically could run on the same tech that like submarines use, because it filters in the water and then it converts it into a breathable atmosphere. It's just done it on a miniaturized scale that won't happen in my lifetime. So and that's why it's such a revelation, because this story takes place in like 1936. So like it's this bonkers suit that it's just a diving suit, and you can just dive perpetually. And it's got a food processor, so you can hunt and get fish. It filters waste. Like it's an explorer's dream until you can't get back up to the surface and you're stuck underwater for 3 years, and then it becomes a cage.
And and what a horrible cage, man. Like, because I think one of the interesting notes that is touched on in the first, what, I think 4 pages is what you have up right now?
5. We have
5.
5.
Okay.
Mhm.
Dude, I just skimmed through them and leave me alone, Dalton. I'm reading a lot and I'm trying to catch up. And like, you
It's
have
all
any
those
idea?
different beverages, man.
And yeah, it might be at least one of them. It's neither here nor there, man. And technically, the fourth one I'm out of, but that's besides the point. Um, but in the fact that at one point, it's funny I say that too with what I'm about to go to. Uh, somebody's knocking on the door trying to get his attention, and they offer him, I think it was a gin, if memory serves me
Mhm.
proper. And he's like, "Oh, I know you're an alcoholic. So are you telling me this guy has to go through? Because I mean, how hardcore of an alcoholic was this character? Can you
Uh,
tell?"
he he wasn't he wasn't okay. That's for sure. No, he's it enough of an alcoholic to kind of start wrecking his life, but not enough that like he couldn't get the funding he needed to get the suit made.
Okay,
Like,
but was he enough of an alcoholic to where he would have had withdrawals?
oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
That's a terrible thing to inflict on a person while they're stuck underwater by themselves.
It's a lot of
And
terrible things we inflict on
and
Emil in this
I
book.
mean that's but that dude, what, and I know this was about depression and as far as getting through it and all of that. What happened to you and Wells, Dalton, that influenced this story that you're like, look, man, We got to get over alcoholism while we're completely and totally isolated under the ocean and having to hunt for food. And you literally, like, there are horrors all around you. God knows, with it being the ocean, I don't know if you guys go into any, things that aren't discovered, but I guarantee there are things that aren't discovered in the ocean because, well,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know shit about the ocean, really. Let's face
Mm-hmm.
it, except for the fact that we put a fucking plastic island on top of it. Um, but as far as what's under there, man, look, if somebody discovered Godzilla one day, I'd be like, huh,
Yeah, it makes
well,
sense.
shit.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised. You know what
Yeah,
I
no, the
mean?
ocean's terrifying.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So what the fuck did y'all go through that made you develop this story? Because especially based on what it is.
Yeah, it was depression. Like I was uh I was living on my own for the first time, my mid-20s, didn't have a whole lot of friends or family nearby, didn't have a lot of connections, I didn't have a lot of direction in my life. It was very suffocating. And that's about when the image of Emil in the diving suit popped in. And then I just kind of wrote out the first chapter. And then I tried to continue writing depths, and then it just kind of died, and it wasn't working anymore. And I just was kind of content to just be like, okay, that's all depths is. It's dead. And Wells and I still kept in touch after college, so we would meet up for some drinks. We would workshop some ideas, and then I just mentioned depths, and he seemed to really latch on to the idea. And he was like, "Let me take a crack at it. I think this is something I want to really dig into." And he was able to figure out what wasn't working about the book, and he was able to like save it. And that was our first collaboration. And now we're finally getting to like bring it to everybody else. So it's pretty cool.
So that was the first thing you two ever collaborated on? That's kind of
Hmm.
crazy.
No, it is wild. We because we come from different backgrounds when it comes to writing stories. I'm the comics guy, and Wells is like the literature guy, the books guy. And when I brought depth to him, he had no idea how to even write comics, and so he started writing it like a movie script at first, and then so like this the whole collaboration was him finding out how to write comics and me figuring out how to like have more thematic through lines, like actually tell a cohesive narrative that wasn't so split between chapters like I was so used to writing. And so that we both like taught each other a lot in that first collaboration, and we liked it so much we just kept going, and we just kept uh, making comics together.
To where it ended up with a mech or with a giant glove that would punch things and turn them into mechs.
Yep, and Frankenstein
That
with a broadsword. Yeah,
that
it's all. No, it started with a guy in a deep sea diving suit, and it ended with Frankenstein with a broadsword. It's been a wild few years.
um I don't know exactly what to say to that. Besides, that again shows the perspective of comics as far as they can be anything, as well as I think the mind of a creative, um, someone that is truly creative. It kind of goes everywhere,
Hmm.
I mean, from from something that's utterly depressive to something that's uplifting, which is what I would say Megaton is. As far as that, I'm mispronouncing that, aren't I?
Oh, Mechaton, you're good.
Mechaton. Why did these? I even asked you before we started just to make sure I didn't, and then I've said it twice, and I'm like, I'm dicking that up. Like I said, you can go check out an interview where we got in depth into that with Wells and Dalton. I'll link that in the description as well as the Kickstarter and stuff, other things. um, yeah, it's just, dude, I couldn't imagine as someone that's been diving. You know what I mean? I've been and a couple times. I've been diving a couple times. They were always on like groups where I've never been just able to just go out and dive. As much as I would love
Hmm.
to do that. Look, I want to dive in the Great Barrier Reef. It's on my bucket list to
Yeah.
dive in the most shark-infested waters on the planet for everyone out there. Like, I don't know what that says about me, as far as an individual. I think it's just I want to see that up close, to know that
Yeah.
there's this thing on our planet that one doesn't give a damn about us. All
Hmm.
right, it doesn't. Like sharks don't care about human beings. If they had the mental capacity, they would because they would understand how much we're wrecking their environment.
Hmm.
Um, but they don't. They are just the ultimate predator in the environment that they inhabit. But I kind of want to see that because I don't think that's something that we as human beings ever get to witness. Now, in depths, man, are you having him run across? I mean, I assume he's sharks, octopuses, all the standard things. I'm totally assuming all that happens. Are you having him run across anything that's not documented?
uh, Not necessarily. Depths is definitely our most grounded work. And like I said, the suit's the most ridiculous thing about the book. So Emil's journey underwater is very much kind of like The Martian, where he's just trying to get through day to day, and he explores a lot, and he sees some great stuff. Like, well, we'll get the sharks, we'll get. He even has an octopus for a friend, Douglas. So, but you also get to see like fish tornadoes and shipwreck graveyards and like these migratory whales, like all these like sweeping underwater vistas that just kind of show how small Emil is and just how vast and grand the ocean is. But also we really explore just how inhospitable that environment is for human beings. Like we should not be down there, and we throw everything at Emil to put him through his paces.
Oh, I know. Have you seen Resident Alien?
I've not.
You have not watched the show,
No,
uh, which it's based on a Dark Horse comic book.
I've
I have
heard of
not.
the comic book. Yeah,
You've read the comic?
no, I've heard of the comic,
Okay.
but
Um, I checked out the show because God, I wish I could remember the name of the actor off the top of my head, but I can't. He's the individual that played the pilot in Firefly.
Nathan Fillion? No,
Yeah.
Tudyk.
Huh?
No,
No. Yeah. Mark
Tudyk.
Tudyk. Tudyk. Yeah. You're right. In
Yeah.
the second one, right? He's the yeah. So he played the pilot. He's the one that's playing the alien, and in
Mhm.
that, I wanted to check it out because I love him as an actor. Like I
Oh yeah,
think,
he's great.
yeah, he's one of those guys. I think that's all. Like I want to see him do something in the MCU. I don't know. I feel like he could play some weird, obscure, crazy character in the MCU.
He was Mr. Nobody in Doom Patrol, and it was great.
Yeah. Oh, he did that. He did that part so well. And then, like I said, he plays the main character in Resident Alien, the actual alien,
Mhm.
which I think shows his depth. That's funny, man. He's been in two comic book shows. I didn't realize that one from DC and one from Dark Horse. Even though I've watched Doom Patrol, which I'm a great fan of to the point where I'm picking up the Unstoppable Doom Patrol from DC, and I'm
Good
really
book.
not a
Good book.
yeah, I'm not a big DC guy, but that book, whew,
It's a
that book's
good
been
book.
solid. Yeah, it
Got
really
Burnham
has.
art on it too.
Huh?
And Chris Burnham art. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. It's just it's been a real solid book, uh, and I'm a fan of. But he has a pet octopus, or well, not a pet. He has a friend that's an octopus in the show. So
Hmm.
that's why I think it's funny you bring that up. But it's because the octopus is actually an alien as well. Like octopuses are the
Mm.
yeah, they acknowledge that the octopus on Earth, they're an alien species. They're not even
Oh,
supposed to
okay.
be here. You know what I mean? So he is an alien, knows that species because they're related
Hmm.
to a certain extent. That's why I bring that up. Yeah, just to point out it wasn't completely fucking random. So I think it's funny that he has a friend that's an octopus. How do you
Yeah.
develop a relationship between a human and an octopus? Because it's not like they can communicate.
No,
well,
it's
in
it's
verbal
very
image.
much it's very much like a boy and his dog. Like Douglas is like he's always waiting at the cave for Emil to come home. Emil will feed him, and Douglas will just kind of be near him. And maybe if Emil doesn't come back at a certain time, Douglas will leave the cave to go try and find him. And he's just a companion. Like Emil will talk to him, have just at least have something to communicate with, even if Douglas just kind of blinks at him every now and again. But no, it's very much like his dog, more or less.
So he names the octopus.
Yes, yes.
How does he know it's the same octopus again and again? Would be my main question in that.
Because I wrote it that way.
That was a real smart ass answer, Dalton. As I
Well,
finished my one of 3 drinks. Yeah, I don't think you could have had a more smart ass because I wrote it that way. How is it? I mean, I just think that's interesting though, because it, again, as far as creatures of the ocean and sea are considered or
Mhm,
concerned, that is one that's considered to have a very high intellect. I mean, we say that
mhm.
dolphins are the smartest, but if you watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or if you read it, dolphins are the smartest species on this planet. All right, they're not second; they're the smartest. All right, but that's neither here nor there. And I mean, people say the octopus are highly intelligent. I think if you, depending upon the amount that you know about octopi, I think that that's something that you could definitely agree with just based on their behavior, how they interact,
Oh yeah.
just how they act as a species. They're obviously of a higher intelligence, and I don't mean like they're more intelligent than humans. Though I may be wrong. Maybe they are. They're not fucking
Biding
up
their
the planet.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe that's what. Wouldn't that be screwy if just octopi just decided to take over the planet all of a sudden?
I'd kind of let them. I mean, there's a good portion of the internet that would let them too. They love tentacles.
I You made this fucking conversation real awkward all of a sudden, Dalton, talking about big head.
We found a tentacles fan, everyone.
Jesus. No, man, I'm good. I'm good. I never. That's something I honestly. Fine, man. Let's just get into some hentai. That's something I never understood. I think it was. Fuck, I was in my early 20s, and a friend of mine. Have you ever heard of La Blue Girl?
No.
Okay. It stuck in my head so hard because of how fucking weird it was. All right. Like I cannot forget the name of this hentai because I'm like, this chick's getting fucked with tentacles from this monster. Like, what in the absolute hell is going on? And it was a friend of a friend, really, who like I'd stop by their house after work. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a dishwasher at the time. That job sucks, y'all. I almost killed me. It literally almost killed me from taking out the trash in the winter, and I got pneumonia so bad. It literally almost killed me. I don't. That's a job we need to figure out how fucking a robot can do is wash the dishes, and I mean like not have to handle any of it, and just yeah, like for restaurants, it'd be phenomenal because I really think it's one of the worst jobs out there in society, in my opinion. And I say that having done a number of them in my life. Um, but yeah, man, and he was like, "You should check this out," and it was La Blue Girl. Yeah, I don't get that fascination, man.
Hey, each their own.
I
I'm
mean,
not
for
gonna judge. Hey, your money all spins the same. So
yeah, I mean, if you like tentacle porn, whatever,
yeah,
you
go for
know,
it. Yeah,
that's
there's there disclaimer. There is no tentacle porn in depths yet. You know.
you doing a slow build to that, huh?
Oh yeah, you got to tease. You got to
Yeah,
titillate. You know how that
yeah.
goes.
Eventually, he's gonna be like, "Man, I really need some." He's just gonna
Yeah.
do his octopus buddy, isn't he?
We've been inserting hentai jokes into basically all of our work so far, and it's all just building to one massive hentai one shot. So you guys stay tuned. Stay tuned.
So this is gonna involve what? A guy underwater that can punch things and turn them into mechs, and suddenly he decides to punch an octopus and turn it into a giant tentacle monster just to jerk him off.
Wouldn't that be neat though? Eh.
Shit. Did I just ruin? Did I just spoil your one shot, Dalton?
No. We go much harder than that. What are you talking? That's baby stuff.
So what? He's gonna punch way more than just one octopus. I got you. And then it's gonna be an octopus and one human orgy, or what? Is he gonna punch a bunch of octopi and make it to where they end up like invading the whole planet and then just like do everybody with their giant tentacles?
Oh, you're thinking too small. We punch the planet, and then we go on a cosmic hentai quest. The rings of Saturn aren't safe.
I mean, Money Shot worked really, really
It
well.
worked.
So, maybe you got the proper idea there, to be real honest, Dalton. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it's not like I ain't picking up Money Shot Comes Again as it is. So, Tim, God knows, put some really odd things out there, but I'm enjoying it. But I've been a fan of Tim Seeley's for a while. It was just interesting to see such a different piece of work from him, because I'm used to like hack slash and such, and suddenly it's fucking aliens.
Alien porn comic. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe you're on the right track there, Dalton. I don't know if you
porn sells.
Right, but the thing is, I think if you punched planet Earth and turned it into a giant mech, it's instantly gonna realize humanity is its ultimate nemesis.
Well, yeah, that's and now it's trapped inside of it, and you're good. You're good to go. I got them under lock and key.
So back to the depths. I don't know what the fuck else to do with this conversation that's going on right here.
Yeah, it's hit a bit of a dead end on the hypothetical hentai one shot. So
yeah, a little bit, man. It's got a bit pervy over here too, for that matter. Like Jesus talking about the rings of Saturn aren't safe. I don't even
sorry, guys.
know.
It's the shirt. I'm sorry. The shirt does things to people. They warned me about it.
The Hawaiian shirt you're wearing?
It does things to people. I should have known better than to wear it on the podcast.
I mean, I've seen Spike Spiegel wear a shirt similar to that several times, and he never had no damn issue like you're having right now. And that's all I'm gonna say. All right, like talking about fucking the rings of Saturn.
Oh, like you wouldn't?
Fuck the rings of Saturn. I don't know, dude. I like my shit to be tight, not a big ass gaping hole.
How small's your dick? Jeez. Come on.
Not ring of Saturn size. Like, I'm not.
If you're in a giant mech, if you're in a giant mech, that's as big as you need it to be.
I mean, I will say, technically, if you turn the Earth into a giant mech, then maybe that's the hole that you need.
There you go.
Ah.
Yeah, here's a whole 15-minute tangent that's probably going to get cut.
No, it's not. I don't.
No, it's not.
On the questionnaire. I don't cut shit on the questionnaire, except maybe this one conversation that I had with this one individual. I'm not even fucking saying what it is. If y'all can figure out where I actually cut something, I was like, oh, I said some shit I probably shouldn't have. Right? Because typically when I say some shit I probably shouldn't have, I'm like, oh, wait, no, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, you can see me do that on Phil and Zach's interview, who currently working on X-Men Unlimited. I'm like, I don't think I should say that. And I think it's Zach, is probably like, yeah, dude, if you think that, you probably shouldn't say that. I'm like, yeah, that's my point. If I think I shouldn't say it, I should probably shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? All right. I don't think there's been anything that terrible. It's just apparently we're turning Earth into a giant mech to fuck the rings of Saturn and maybe Uranus. I don't know.
Hey, that's just the first course.
You know, I had to make that joke. It was way too easy, like set up on a T-ball. I couldn't help myself. Right. But man, like what? So you when this guy initially gets thrown in, I'm just like segueing like hard like a motherfucker. Uh, when he initially gets thrown into this suit, I know. So I mean, he obviously initially has somebody watching him because you're not just gonna
Yeah.
go under those. It's not like you're just gonna go out on your own boat and be like, "Oh, I got a perpetual suit," oh! And then not have anybody monitoring your shit,
Right.
because that would be real fucking dumb. And I mean like Donald Trump is president dumb. That's how dumb that is, right? So maybe he did do it. I don't know that happened. But and then he's obviously lost. How long was his initial trip planned for? As far as like how long did he initially plan to stay down?
Yeah. So his best friend James, he's the one in the preview pages as
Yeah.
well. The one taking him the drink. He and James invented the suit together, and they're on a big boat. It's a big news coverage for the launch of the suit. So they have a whole media crew there as well. So the initial experiment was 24 hours. And they were James was going to be up there, going to monitor the whole situation, and it was going to go off without a hitch until it didn't. And the 24 hours turned into 3 years.
Is there a reason that you decided to set it at 3 years? Like, I mean, because I mean, you could
No.
have set that at any time frame.
Yeah, I mean, if you go longer than 5, I'm almost certain the mind has fractured at that point into a million tiny pieces. And if we're going a year didn't feel long enough, so I think I just randomly was just like 3. I just wrote down 3 years, and then it just kind of stuck from there.
I don't know, man. A year in the ocean with no human contact whatsoever, I think your mind might fracture a little with that. Now, mind you, it is very much going to depend upon the mind, how much you can occupy yourself within your own brain. I mean, there's a number of different factors as far as
And
what.
it's also not like Emil is down there for no reason. Like Emil had a very specific reason for building the suit. There is something in the ocean he wants and needs to find. So there's there's things to occupy Emil's time and attention outside of the grief and anxiety and the depression. Like so there's reasons for him to continue to get up and keep exploring beyond just survival. So if he had just been an intern who got shunted into the suit and then lost at sea, I agree. Yeah, that guy's not going to make it 6 months before he pops the helmet off and just gives up. But Emil has he's a little too stubborn for that.
I can relate. Yeah. Yeah. There'd be part of me that would be like, damn it, if I just walk long enough, I'm eventually going to get to the shore of fucking somewhere. I don't give a damn where it is. Eventually, I'm going to reach a shore. This thing will keep me alive. I'll reach a shore somewhere. I might be 10 years older than I am now,
Mm-hmm.
but there's cool shit out here I can look at too. How did you feel? I mean, is there a depth limit on this suit?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, he could easily walk off a cliff and get crushed like a soda can. Like there is a limit to what the suit can endure, and we get to play with that a little bit. So there's so many unseen dangers under the water besides the things that want to eat you, and those were a lot of fun to mess with as well.
Yeah, I mean, because like where initially is he stepping off of as far as like what shore?
So they are In the Atlantic. They're off the coast of some British place. Emil's English, so I forget the exact place they ship off from, but it's somewhere in the North Atlantic region.
Okay, so he's in the Atlantic then.
Hmm.
That's how many issues? Like, is there a shark encounter in the first
Of course.
chapter?
No, but I believe it's either in 2 or 3. We have the sharks. I forget which one.
And how many chapters is the entirety of the first graphic?
So the first graphic novel is the first half of the story, so it's the first 4 issues. And then it's a 7 chapter series total. Our 7th issue is a double-sized finale. So you get chapter 1 through 4 in book 1, and then 5 through 7 in book 2, whenever that eventually comes out.
Now, out of curiosity, then, is this a story that, like, it's that's it, or is there
Right.
a possibility for a continuation in this somewhere?
So we do have plans for spiritual continuations. Um, so the story of Emil and James is over when Depths is over. However, the world they inhabit continues to move on. And so we have ideas for a few more like spiritual sequels kind of set in that world, like impacted by the suit and the kind of their adventures. So if we once we finish Depths, we can start working towards those. But as far as Emil is concerned, it's just Depths, 7 issues, and it's done.
That makes me curious because you say spiritual, as far as in that continuations, and I mean with what you say of this suit in the show. Or I mean, in the I said show. Shit, my bad. Like in the comic, it's obviously tech that could be used on multiple fronts. Like if you could
Mhm.
create this for outer space exploration, it would. I think now, like if you could give NASA the specs to this suit and it really worked, I think they'd probably all give you all the tentacle porn you wanted.
Yeah, they first had to figure out what tentacle porn was, and then they'd be like, "Okay, we'll get it to you." Sure.
Are you sure they'd have to figure it out there, Dalton?
You're right. NASA is a bunch of freaks.
Just saying. Uh, they might have some space monster already giving them their own personal tentacle porn, right? I mean, they do. They have finally acknowledged that aliens truly do exist. So God knows what they actually know as far as what they really know that they ain't telling us. But that's neither here nor there. We're not getting into that. I don't want to suddenly like get lasered in the head and the show suddenly stop because I said something I shouldn't have, and I'm like, it's like this motherfucker. Like, I'm not on any conspiracy theory shit, but I'm just telling you, the military had a computer long before your ass did. The military had
Hmm.
a phone long before your ass did. But I'm not saying you specifically. I mean everybody in general. You know what I mean? That's just the truth of it. So, like
Hmm.
the American, I think it's an American Dad episode. What do they have now? Do they have a monster with tentacles just jerking them all off? Maybe. All right.
Soon,
I'm
everyone
just
will have
saying.
their own personal tentacle monster,
Yeah,
brought to you by
hey.
Apple.
Oh, shit.
It's called
Um,
the hen. It's called the hentai, and it has the nice little eye at the end. It's great.
all right. So that's what
I
I'm
should
saying.
work
As
for
far as
Apple.
in the application of that, we keep on going to tentacle porn, man. I'm starting to think there's a problem here. Uh, in the application of that, is there something in the future that you plan to take that suit and use it for some kind of space travel in these stories?
I mean, probably. We have we do have the next story basically done. And then there's about 2 more that we want to do that we have only in kind of these general planning stages. So there's not a hard yes to that, but that's only because we haven't actually sat down and started figuring out all the little details. But no, that suit is a revolutionary piece of technology, and there's no way that it wouldn't get utilized in future uh, in future exploration, whether that's the ocean or in space in some regard. So yeah.
So you already have a bit of the next book pretty much, or the next book pretty much done.
It's written, yeah.
Can you give any teaser to that?
Yeah, it's called Dust. It's a road trip book. It's about a brother and a sister who are traveling cross country uh, to scatter their parents' ashes, and it's about their relationship, which isn't good, and their adventures across America as they travel upward from their home in New Mexico. So it's also like a big character study. It's like I said, it's set in the same world of depths. It's just we're not dealing with uh, the depression and isolation of the sea. We're dealing with how do I talk to my like 8-year-old brother who has a significant learning disability and how he's dealing with our parents' death. So like it's a different kind of book. It's just kind of set in that same world.
So is that the idea with this entire series of books? Is to just address different issues that we would come across in, just being humans.
Yeah, the core of each one of these series. I mean, there's the aesthetic core, which is like ocean, ground, sky, space, and then there's like the thematic core, which depths is it's about grief and depression, but it's also about how you relate to your parents. Like I had to work out a lot of daddy issues in this book, and dust is kind of your sibling relationships. We have one for like how you relate to your children or your lover. Like it's how we interact with other human beings, and what that does to each individual, and how we kind of make that into one cohesive uh, unit that is humanity, more or less. And we do it by going further and higher, and we keep going.
Do you think, like in that regard, as far as exactly what you just said, do you think people that miss that sometimes within comics, as far as how much it can be an exploration of self and an exploration of just society as a whole?
Do I think what now? Like that people they miss it, like they don't.
Like they don't that, and by
It goes over their heads.
I mean the general public.
Hmm.
That they don't see that there's a depth in comic books that explores this depth of
Oh,
humanity and its character. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? Like most people
oh,
are like,
so you're talking like comic books specifically. I think, yeah, I think there's still a general stigma in America towards comic books and their uh, perceived lack of merit or depth. Um, so yeah, no, that exists, but that tide's always changing. We have more kids than ever reading comic books, and it's I mean, comic books are the leading media darlings of television and film right now. So like it will change to the point where like your mom's not going to roll your eyes because you said Batman made you cry this month. It'll be just like saying, this book I read or this movie I watched made me cry. It's just it's been so stigmatized and infantilized by Marvel and DC mostly, and the comics code of the 50s and 60s, and it's just been a long process of uh, demeaning what comics can be, and that's thankfully changing.
now I gotta know. Just you had to bring up Batman, right? Which look, we've gone into Batman on several past episodes on a number of different things about the individual that Bruce Wayne really is. But I just want to know, when you look throughout comics, what character do you think is the most sane hero? And what character do you think is just the most off his damn rocker hero?
Sane? I mean, Superman's probably the most like collected person to put on tights. Like and Nightwing's pretty well adjusted too. But no, I'm a big Superman guy, so I'll say it's Superman. And Unhinged, I mean, most of the Marvel pantheon
No, I
is
said
pretty
hero.
unhinged. Hmm?
I said hero specifically.
Yeah,
Just
and
for that.
most of them are pretty unhinged, and pretty manic. Um, like Peter Parker's a fucking mess. Um, Moon Knight is pathologically insane. Uh, Punisher's not even a hero. Um, and you know, it's take your pick. It's grown men fighting crime in tights. They're all a little maladjusted.
Man, look, I can't believe you said Parker.
That guy's a mess. What are you talking about?
He is, but he's not a mess in the sense of he's crazy and trying to cause malice and a little unhinged, in my opinion.
No, he's not a clinical
Yeah,
madman, but
right. Then you bring up Moon Knight, and I'm like, all right, yeah, he's just crazy. Like he's literally certifiably, like he's nuts.
the man needs help.
Yeah, yeah, like that man needs. I don't know what the character of Moon Knight needs, but I mean, as far as like, cause he's, yeah, there's serious issues when you're one person and then you're one person and then you're one person and then an Egyptian god comes into the scenario and puts in
It's bad
another
enough when
person
most
and
superheroes have
yeah.
two identities to juggle, and Moon
Yeah.
Knight has a whole host of them.
Yeah, so I think you might have topped Batman with Moon Knight, to be real honest, because I was always in it, and this is a discussion we had on the previous FanCon with Nick, Jason, David, uh, fucking Marco, and Vlad, as far as who was just the most unhinged and who was the most stable superhero. And Batman was the general consensus, Superman was the other, as far as hinged and unhinged,
Mm.
respectively.
I
Um,
mean, I think
but
Batman's pretty well adjusted, all things considered. Dude has mental health issues, but like he's calm, he's cool, collected. Like you're not gonna see Batman just you know, go completely batshit because his brain broke. Dude has his brain has broken to such an extent that there is only one operating system going on, and it's always cold and calculated. And but he's also like has a family. The man wants to be happy. So like I think when you're comparing Batman to people like the Punisher, he's actually pretty well adjusted.
Dahmer is all I have to say to that.
And,
Everyone
he's
said he was the nicest guy until they figured out what he really did.
well, Batman's not eating people, is he?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure Batman's not eating
Let
people.
me explain to
Unless you're reading Deceased or something, in which case I can't help you there.
you. Batman's not literally eating people, but he is figuratively eating people in the fact that he sits and uses his billions upon billions of dollars not to help the city of Gotham, but
Oh
to
my
help
god.
himself with his little
Oh
bullshit.
my
And that's
God.
all I'm saying.
Are we having this Twitter argument today? Are we back to the Batman could do so much more with his money? It's a comic book. Like I buy Batman to watch him punch Joker in the face. I don't buy it to have him set up funds for orphans and lead committee meetings on how to fix the infrastructure in Crime Alley.
Wait,
Like,
is this a big Twitter argument that goes on? Because I haven't seen it, and I promo
oh,
the
dude,
show.
like about Twitter comics Twitter cycles through like debates, and could Batman fix Gotham with his money is the one that pops up about every month and a half. Uh, somebody's like, well, Batman's problematic actually because, and it's like, guys, it's a fucking comic book. Like, come on.
I'll give you that. It is a comic book, and I do want a good story. But in my opinion, the main thing Batman has going for him are his villains. Like, and that's
Well,
it.
okay. If
Right?
um if we really wanted to talk about, the maladjusted. If you want to dive in and you want to take this to its logical extreme, Superman is the cruelest person on the planet Earth because he doesn't actually fix the entire planet. And that's a really terrible way to read that. But that's how people talk about Batman and his money.
I see, but I would disagree because if Superman went and fixed the planet, he would ostensibly be taking away free will, which makes him, oh, what's the character's name that fucking did that in the comics, and then he ends up being a piece of shit, and they end up going after him.
I mean, Superman literally did that in Injustice.
Well, there's that, yeah, and I'm pretty sure Ultraman did it at one point too, didn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But no, like what I'm saying, it's a false kind of equivalence when you're talking about like what the character logically could do to do the most good. Like it's a story for 8-year-olds that is trying to impart morals and themes about being better and helping people. And that's what Superman and Batman do. And that's what the books are supposed to be. They're vehicles. They're not supposed to be real world conundrums on how to fix inequality in a metropolitan area. And so to just think that, that's all comic books should be, is pursuing realism, I think is a very poor read of comic books, and it was superheroes specifically, because superheroes are not meant to tackle that kind of thing. They are meant to be like they're children's entertainment. They're cartoon characters, and people need to treat them like and allow them to function that way while still giving deep, meaningful stories that do something for you. But you can't expect Superman to go solve world hunger or cancer or the housing crisis, because that's not fair.
How the fuck would Superman solve any of those things?
I mean, Superman's one true power is that he never loses, and like he's indomitable. Like if there's a way to fix it, he could, technically, but like that's not what that book is for.
Okay, well, see, we're gonna get into a real deep comic book debate in this right now.
Oh boy.
Like,
I thought we were talking about deaths.
right. No, man, you started it when you brought up Batman. No, I just think it's funny, man, because you bring up Superman saying all those things, and technically the only way Superman could go about fixing all that, as far as what I can perceive from knowing everything I know about the DC universe, which I'll be honest is not as much as I know about the Marvel universe. I always preferred the Marvel universe because I think it has more of a base in our Earth than DC does. You know what I mean? Not that either of them are fucking realistic. I'm not saying that. There ain't nobody trying to eat the planet or find the anti-life equation, thank God.
I don't know. Jeff Bezos is getting close.
Maybe he's Batman, as Dave once told me.
I hope not. Batman actually cares about people.
But does Bruce Wayne?
Yes, he does.
Are you sure, man? I don't know. Every time I've ever seen Bruce Wayne, he kind of seems to be to put up a front of an egotistical asshole.
No, yeah, he puts up a front. That doesn't mean he doesn't care.
Okay, so who's to say that Jeffrey Bezos isn't doing the same?
Because we can see provable things that Bezos is making the world worse.
All right, I just had to throw that out there, and you're very, sadly, very, very much right. We won't get into that anymore because this podcast is actually available on Audible and Amazon. So
you won't mind if I say fuck Amazon, right?
I have said fuck Amazon on this show.
All right, great.
All right, like, and I say that as somebody that used to work at one of their distribution centers. Like, are you shitting me?
I'm sorry.
That is, yeah, dude. It's the worst. And yeah, no, they run their business deplorably as far as how it is ran. And you got an asshole shooting himself off into space with Captain fucking Kirk And then when Captain Kirk's sitting there having that moment of clarity, that same asshole run, woo, with a bottle of champagne, just needing fucking. Have you seen that clip that I'm referring to?
No, I haven't, and I
Really?
don't think I want to. That would just make me
No, dude.
sad.
I swear to God, Dalton, you should see it just for. I'll fucking send it to you. Don't fuck with me. Um, where it's shit. How the fuck is Kirk's name gonna escape me?
Shatner. Will
Shatner,
Shatner.
William Shatner. Thank you. Uh, William Shatner sitting there, and it's after Jeffrey Bezos had just taken him up, and an interview is interviewing him. He's having that moment, that they say pretty much everyone does. Astronauts have acknowledged it. When you see the Earth as a marble, just in this black sphere of this black pool, and here's this place you live. It's right here. It's this big, right? And then there's nothing around it, right? And just like taking that in, you see him having that moment of clarity. And Jeffrey Bezos runs up and like pops a bottle of champagne, just starts spraying. It is the most asinine shit I think I have ever seen in my life.
Psychopath.
It's yeah. So if there is a superhero in the real world, like on this planet that we live in, for the love of God, I hope it's not Jeffrey Bezos. If it is, we're all fucked. We're all fucked, man. I don't. He would do
If he
no.
is, yeah, you know what? We're in a pretty sorry spot if he is or he isn't.
Thanks for making it more depressing. Back to the depths was this all about depression, right? So I mean, he's down there for 3 years. Why? Why is it you wanted to tell the amount of time he was down there? I feel like in saying that, you're essentially like, oh, he's eventually gonna get out. Why not leave it to where it's like, hey man, he may just be fucked.
I mean, I never said he got out,
Ooh.
but that's telling. No, I think the reason we have the 3 years is because we wanted to have depths. Depths is about a particular story, and it's about a particular event in Emil's life. But it's not the story of his first year. Like we're not like we show the accident and we show him alone, and then we cut to 3 years later. So the book is not about him having to figure out how to survive down here. It's not about him having a panic attack every 5 seconds. We cut to an Emil who has been doing this a little bit. He has kind of accepted his place. He's pretty much accepted nobody's coming for him, and he's trying to figure out how to make it through day by day, and have some kind of life down here. Maybe if we had like an ongoing, we may have been able to, pepper in some flashbacks to that first year, or show it in real time. But it felt more impactful to have the accident and then show where Emil is at uh, with a bit of a time jump. So yeah, that more or less that's kind of the reasoning behind it.
I mean, I hope that you do at least pepper in a little bit of flashbacks, right? To those first 2 years where I mean, because within those first 2 years, that's clearly where you're going to have, especially within that first year, I would say the most moments as far as, oh, well, hey, this is a great white and it's 3 times bigger than me and it thinks I'm food. And,
Mm-hmm.
here's a pack of barracudas that just are attacking my suit endlessly. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's or a giant, the first time you ran across the giant squid. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that would be a fun encounter.
Oh no, there's tons of fun stuff that we get up to under the water, and depths is littered with flashbacks above and below. So it's not lacking for underwater content, that's for sure.
All right, all right. I know this interview has not been lacking in tentacle porn references as I bring up another giant squid. It instantly made me thought about how much we've talked about tentacle porn this whole time. And I'm like, man, this shit got on hentai like Jason Coughlin's interview got on politics.
Yeah, you need to put a little counter up top every time we say the word hentai in your edits. Just ding, ding.
Are
You're
you
great.
trying? Look. First off, this ain't the South Park episode where they just said shit repetitively. Secondly, I don't have like except me dealing with editing all this shit, bro. Are you want to edit it? You want to edit this episode? Huh? Do you? Because look, I'll tell you what. I'll even edit it fully until all you need to do is add that counter, and then I want you to sit there and watch it and just ding it every time. You want to do
No,
that?
that's a whole day of work. I'm not doing that.
All right, see, you're trying to add a whole day of work on top of every other. I'm gonna fucking. And Wells ain't even here. God knows what he'd say as far as the tentacle porn, man. Maybe that's his thing. We can get way more in depth.
It's entirely possible. I can neither confirm nor deny.
So when we flash that address like we did earlier, because Dalton sent it to me, you know what to send Wells now. Just send him a bunch of tentacle porn. I swear to God, if he ends up getting a bunch of tentacle porn in his fucking
Oh,
doorstep,
just tweet so much hentai at Wells. He will love it. Or at
I'll
least
put
I
his,
will love watching it happen to him.
I'll definitely make sure his Twitter is in the description. Uh,
At Wells Thomp, THOMP.
yeah, yeah. That way y'all can just tweet a bunch of hentai tentacle porn at Wells all day for the fact that he didn't show up and discuss the depths, which I think may end up with some tentacle porn in it. I don't care what Wells says.
Spoilers.
All right, yeah, he's just not trying to give any spoilers for book 2, where suddenly old boy and his octopus buddy get real buddy.
Douglas is pure. How dare you? He's a good boy.
I don't know that I agree, Dalton. I've past conversated with you two on a book that you were creating in Mechaton. Like I said, I don't. Man, is there a link where motherfuckers can go get that?
You can actually get it on this campaign as well. Like a ton's available through depth. So I think we also have it on our Ko-Fi page or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, and there'll be plenty of links in the description, regardless of where you're at, so y'all can go check out everything we've discussed, except hentai. If you want hentai, just Google hentai, and I guarantee you'll find plenty of responses. I'm not putting links to hentai in the description for the interview, even though
Coward.
that would. Oh, what you want me to?
Hey, it's your show, man.
I mean, I'll do it, but I just didn't figure it was a good look for the guest when
Yeah,
it's
probably
like.
not.
Look, I'll put a link to La Blue Girl, right? Since I
Yeah,
specifically brought it up.
traumatize everyone else. Sure, yeah.
Hey, everyone needs a little trauma and a little depression in their life so they know how to step forward. That's why y'all need to check out Depths when it comes out. I'm serious. It looks phenomenal. I'm hoping I can do some things where I can manage to kickstart on that. Hopefully, this is out before the Kickstarter is over. I'll be real honest, my ass is going to have to get into editing. And that's why right now, I'm telling y'all, right? If you've enjoyed this interview, send Dalton and Wells a crap load of hentai on their Twitter. I'll make sure it's connected for both of them. That's what I want y'all to do. Right? So if you've enjoyed it, just send them a crap load of just hentai on Twitter. If you haven't enjoyed it, fuck it. Send them a crap load of hentai on Twitter.
I prefer Lovecraftian twists.
You heard the man.
Wells is more of that like Little Mermaid kind of thing. Yeah.
Check out Depths, y'all. Click the link in the description and have a good night.